in the halcyon days of live play.
Seems a very long time ago now, doesn't it? But no, they've both made a very impressive start so far. Bear with me. Yeah. It's a fairly straightforward game. Kristian's anchored up on Kev's 5-point, and he's just coming home steadily and safely. I seem to be seeing the clock's flitting back and forward a bit in this game. What's going on? There we go. So I've missed a few moves. Ah, there we go. That can't be right. There was some little delay in the board, which meant it looked like Kev was leaving a shot by choice, and I thought that can't be right. But no, it's now corrected itself, and Kev is just bearing off. Yeah, that double 4 means it's basically time to go. There's very little chance of Kristian getting a shot containing it if he stays back with his board broken, but he still has running chances, and a double 6 will make a big difference to that. Suddenly the game's competitive again.
Okay. Should seal it for Lawrence. Credit to the two of them. That was a very well played game. Interestingly, I know it's only at very formative stages with the national online ratings that you and the UK BGF have introduced this year, but I think Kristian Mills is second in that. Clearly, as an online player, very, very strong.
Oh, this first thing that Heroes has actually pointed out. This Kristian doesn't. A slight mistake there. Kristian doesn't really need the 4th man on the 8 points, and he stripped his mid slightly. But still, only a marginal thing.
Lawrence, I had the pleasure of playing quite regularly with in a little private PR group with some very esteemed players. I always treat playing with Lawrence as a free lesson. He generally plays to a PR of around 3.
So now that stripping the midpoint now comes back to bite Kristian slightly. He can't make the bar point easily. So he's going to take the 2 instead. Or possibly not. Or possibly just abandon the midpoint.
And this is something I'll mention a few times today. The beauty with XG is the hindsight analysis. so often people look at the moment and say, I don't understand the analysis in the move at that moment in time. What you've just seen is a classic example of why it highlighted it as a small error. And a few moves later, it compounds itself. You need to look beyond the now sometimes with the analysis.
Yeah, so now with a very long distance hit, Kev is back in the driving seat here with one man back. Kristian doesn't really want to pop it on Lawrence's 4-point. That's liable to be attacked now. And the extra threat of attacking that man gives Lawrence a good cube. So one thing we picked up from some training sessions with Chris Bray is it's always a good idea to spend plenty of time on doubling decisions, as those are going to be the ones where you potentially make the biggest mistakes. And it's good to see that both players here have taken their time with sending the cube over and with taking it. Some of the other games we've seen, it's been very sort of instinctive, just grab it and go.
Well,
say these are the points that make the most difference.
Yeah, well, if you want to get game, Mochi makes it very clear continually to everyone: take at least 12 seconds on any cube decision, irrespective as to how obvious it is.
Yes, and you've always got 12 seconds or 10 seconds for free before you start eating into your time bank. Make the most of it.
Give me a second.
Oh, this doesn't feel right. 6-1. You've got a chance to get that man out of his prison. Not taken, and now Flores can fill in these remaining points quickly. It's suddenly looking very, very gammonish. You might only have one man back, but you've got to consider that there are 3, 5, 7 men in the outfield, and getting them all home if you're struggling to come in against a 5-point board is going to be a challenge. Yeah, Lawrence carefully blocks the 2-6 joker. And that number doesn't let Lawrence hit loose. So
while I chase up some late entrants.
Okay. Have a think about this. He's got a substantial lead, but if he's going to clear the 8-point, then the 2 men at the back are going to be hard to get home. On the other hand, he can't clear that awkward 15-point without leaving a shot somewhere. Okay. Yeah, and the problem with that is now that Kristian can step out with the 6, leaving an indirect shot, and the immediate danger of gammons is receding. But no, this isn't the right idea. You're going to give far too many attacking chances. Black is not going to worry about hitting loose if there are two men hanging around in white's home board. Or even one is it's not going to help. Yeah, and now black can hit with relative impunity. Again, so suddenly this looks very dangerous for white. Black can consider which where he puts those spares. So yeah, doesn't want to duplicate any awkward numbers. And now, again, this is where it all goes wrong. Black on the bar with two men to fire at, one more in the outfield, and of course the man trapped back. The 5's not a good number. It doesn't help white tidy up at all. Yeah, and Lawrence picks up the second man. I think he'll play. What's he got? He's got two twos at this point, 15, 13. Gives white some return hits, but he's then aiming at that man on his 7 point. The other one, 5-3, rather doesn't leave any nasty returns, but it's going to achieve less. 2-1 to come back on. And again, the 1 doesn't allow any sort of tidying up here. And now 4-2. I'm sure Lawrence is going to hit twice at this point. And double 3. All the men in the outfield stuck. So the board is going to crash instead. That's a terrible roll. However, white's got a big struggle to get two men back on and clear up that man in the outfield as well. So now 17-13. Gets ready to pick that one up. Double 4 certainly put him back in the air, and Lawrence leaves himself nicely spread out to cover to make one of those board points next go. After 8, 4-2 should make the 5 point. Now this is looking bad numbers that leave a shot apart. This is looking very gammonish. Lawrence brings his last man in. He's got an even number on both the top 2 points, so he should be able to clear them down safely. No need to take any extra risk for the extra points at this point. A backgammon is not on the cards. Oh, I say that, and white dances, but no, it's not going to be. It's going to be an easy gammon from this point on. It's going to take Lawrence to 6-0. Oh, and new game. 6-5, run fairly standard running out. Four-3 is looking to build quickly. Now, at other match scores, you might be more inclined to split rather than play 4-3, 2 men down. But when you're behind, you want to look for gammonish positions. You're not going to make up this deficit in one point at a time. You want big games. And white's double 3 does certainly that. That'll close. That'll make 2 points and put black on the bar. Sorry. I've said that he's coming in with one of the 3s. So yes, you certainly want to make the 3 point on black's head. Bring another man into the attack. Now there are loads of threats for white. Not much of a racing lead, just a little bit. But all those shots aiming at black are just too much to take. Yep, and Lawrence correctly lets that one go. 6-1. 2, 5, 1. 6-2, relatively cautious running out, but that's good. Lawrence wants to play more cautiously than normal. Keep that lead. 5-1. Probably want to slot the 5 here. There aren't any other. It seems the most productive way to use a poor number. Kristian looking at the hit on the ace, but it doesn't feel right to me. It's not awful, but it's hitting on the ace is usually a distraction from something else to stop black using his full roll. But black didn't have many threats at that point. We're now the 6-4. Black is out and running. Now that's a good roll. That hits. Little exchange of hits is certainly going to benefit white with the stronger board and a much more flexible position as well. One. Yeah, that's okay. 8-7 duplicates the sixes for black to hit back. This feels a little bit, perhaps a little bit overcautious, but the bot likes it. 3, got to come back in and rebuild that 5-point anchor. And Lance has got the 5-point anchor too. Now the game's going to probably settle down for a bit. Double 4 lets black move forwards. Keeps all the men in touch with each other. 4-2 doesn't do a lot of useful things. Double 1 that's rather better, makes a 5-point. Six, 4. Slight error there. White really wants to make his points in the right order. So making the 2-point slightly less good. Six, 1 lets him slot the 3-point though, so it's going to be fixed fairly soon. Double 6, only one way to do this. Bring all your men home. And 4-3 means white's board is now ready for the shot if it appears. Another cube. That was out. That was a very quick pass by white, but it's quite a substantial mistake there. You've got a surprising amount of life in a game like that, in that the two men back on the 11-point are going to find it difficult to get home safely, and also white at 6-1 down does not want to be giving away points easily. He can afford to take a lot more. Certainly the point that takes Lawrence to 4 away now is one worth fighting for. A bit harder. So let's go now. 7-1. Yeah, white finds a great double hit with that double 3. 3-1 brings them both back in though. Two, 1. You can make an anchor or make an outfield point. You don't really want to take that man onto the 8. Again, it's created rather inflexible piles. And Black now with a strong advantage. The extra point is board. His men are placed nicely. It's just picked up a fourth man. No reason not to go into attack mode here. Put 2 on the bar and press hard. White's offering no real opposition. It's 1 point board, so Black's not too worried about being hit at this stage. Just keep up the pressure. You can afford to hit again with this from the spare on the 6. But, perhaps not.
Okay, I think the calm after the storm is there. A few oversleeping people on a Sunday morning. First thing I notice is Kristian's clock is quite low.
Yeah, we saw quite a rapid pass in the last game. Kristian passed the cube very quickly, and I'm wondering if a certain degree of time pressure is getting to him. For the match score, he's used quite a lot of time.
And actually, the game he's now in is exactly the kind of game he wanted to avoid, where this is going to be a long game for him.
Right, double five.
So even though 7-1 ahead, and Lawrence would be reticent to throw cubes, make any volatility. Of course, at 4 away, he's in a very nice position if he did throw a cube.
But with a 4-point board, his men reasonably well distributed, and White's rather awkward stacks. I mean, an undoubled gammon would be a very good result for Lawrence.
Absolutely. So. Yeah.
Three, 6. You don't really want to bring another.
I don't think you mind being hit again, do you? You'd probably be quite keen. There's no major builders unless Lawrence gets a double 5.
But where do you want to be hit? I mean, 13-7 strips the midpoint awkwardly. So I think I would rather be hit there on 16. That feels a bit too big. And that
making the 2 point is of no value, even if he misses it.
Again, it also strips the 8 point, where it could be quite useful.
Yeah. So I think that was the lesser of the evils. So obviously, under normal circumstances, Kristian would be easily cubed out here, but Lawrence has got to make a decision, which is an interesting one, because it must be tempting to cube here with a potential gammon ending the game.
These sort of cubes, when you've got a big lead, are very, very difficult to judge.
So my adage in those situations is very simple. If I have no home board, it's a drop, as desperate as I am to have a volatile game.
Yeah, so
Kristian here is now in a position where both clock and match points mean he's got to get a cube in very early in the next few games.
So that cube was a correct double and pass.
Yep.
But only 0.03 away from being no double. So you've got a terrifically small doubling window of these sort of scores.
So Kristian must be looking to cube, I would have thought in a minute. 8-1 down against Lawrence.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I would hit on the 3 points, make a point, and then hope to cube him out. There we are. as we're watching. Nels had a very good win over Brendan Burgess, 9.
Yeah. So yeah, Kristian's put the cube across. Lawrence has taken. Not rewarded with a very good roll there. 5-3 doesn't achieve very much. And Lawrence's position improves a lot with that 4-1, making the 5 point. Oh, 5-1.
I don't think you can afford to lose the midpoint.
No, you'd be far too early to give up the midpoint. So
it's similarly to the last game. You're either going to hit on the 2 here and hope to get lucky, or as you said last game, maybe get hit on the 18 and maybe come back up.
It's rather hard. It's rather more difficult here in that yeah, black's got a fairly tough position to get past. Those two men at the back are going to get 3 now at the back are likely to get stuck.
And that's why I feel like it's a Gazo-in tip. You know, often when in doubt, come out. And I think had he come to the 24-18, the 4-2 would have actually not hurt him so much.
5-4 is a good one.
That's very nice.
Very nice. Oh no, no. Make the bar point. You're in this game until the very end. That's not the right thing to do.
And that may even have ended the game. Well, very tempting switch, but I'm not sure if that's too big.
It makes it.
I would be tempted to.
I'd be tempted to.
Yeah, but I will trust Lawrence. But the 6-2 is staring at you, isn't it?
I was thinking of 9-1 twice.
That's the other. Yeah, that's. I think the proverbial 2 on the bar looks very tempting.
Or at least 9-5, 5-1 twice, and then think about the 4th one. That's rather passive, and that's going to let him anchor up.
I think the 13-1-5-1.
Yeah. 6-5 make the 2 point, or make the 3 to stop him getting a second anchor.
Certainly the purer players like to sequence them coming in, don't they? I don't think you want to make the 1 point there. You want Lawrence back there.
White's got to switch plans now. We'll start going forward again. Yeah, bring a second man, another man round. Well, the bar point's useful.
Especially he comes on the 2, absolutely. Now he's going to be forced to hit next go. The gap on the 4, that's not such a great. In fact,
he's missed. He can remake the bar point,
which I think is forced almost.
But it does give black a route out. Yeah, 6-5. So that's not work.
Much feel now, Lawrence. Bring this game home. Let's see how we're doing on the.
Well, this could make the 2 point, or you can bring a man out into the outfield.
Yeah, no, I didn't like that. You've got to come out. You need some contact now.
Yeah, and that's going to play awkwardly. You're forced 18-12. That's got some.
Essentially, one throw away from this match ending. Because if Lawrence picks up one and he dances, likely it is he'll close out.
That feels like you're offering even more shots. And so that just offers ones and twos and the 3 to hit loose in the board. But yeah, I'm sure Lawrence is going to hit.
Oh, okay.
Just leave the one, double 1 and 1, 2. Now,
I don't think Lawrence needs to take any chances.
No, not against a 5 point board. Just keeping a man back.
Now, and yeah,
now he can. Yes, he can.
So now he'll
press on safely. And
so the writing could be on the wall.
Needs a 1, didn't get it. And now with far less threat, Lawrence is going to hit the bar. And that. Oh no! I hope that was just
a misclick. Yeah.
A misclick.
No, he'll be fine. It covers back over.
So Lawrence is winning a gammon about maybe about 35% of the time here. It's 40 if it's if he's got a perfect bear off position, but he's slightly less good with the 2 men further down in the board. But even so, we're very happy with that. 1 back on quickly. Oh, and that almost certainly saves the gammon. That certainly does. In fact, this game's not quite over. Oh, another double. Wow. We're seeing a big comeback here.
We say wow a lot online.
Yeah.
As long as there's no 1 in the next 2 rolls.
6-2. No, it should be fine.
So
So we should reach 10-1 Crawford. There are the computer's telling us there are a few missed doubles at the very end of that bear off by Lawrence, but they're very small. And to be honest, at this score, you really don't want a catastrophic sequence of doubles for your opponent to turn it round.
Yeah, you've also got to remember Lawrence being, without patronising to Kristian, a superior player. There's a chance actually Kristian would have taken it and thrown it back. You saw towards the end there, it almost got close.
It would be wrong, but a desperation take and recube is a perfectly understandable response to this scoreline.
Yeah, against an immensely strong player.
Yes. So 4-2, just building the 4 point.
So I assume in reality he would have only needed about 2 or 3% to take.
Ouch, that's a good roll. That stops white getting the better anchor. And that's another 5-2 to hit in the outfield if Lawrence wants it. There's not much else to do with that roll.
No.
Or 5.
Last chance hit.
Oh, another one. Another one goes back. And another one. Some good. And now, Lauren.
That's the problem with these very strong players. They're also very good with rolling the dice.
One comes out.
So Kristian is praying for one last chance.
Well, that 3-1 doesn't play very well. No. 5-2. Kristian would love to make another point in the outfield. That man sat on 17 is a big weak point still. See, Lawrence can hit, almost certainly cover the 3. And now this looks very much like it's all over.
So while you're watching that, I'm just going to have a look at where we are with other matches.
6-3. And there's always time for a last-minute surprise. 3-3 keeps those men pinned on the bar point. It still should be possible to bring these home safely. But there are a few bad numbers now. 2-1 gives a double shot on some awkward numbers, but 6-5 isn't awkward. 6-5 clears nicely. And there's a shot. And it's missed. Only 1-1 now. Won't be any problem. Lawrence doesn't roll it. And this must surely be over.
Who is Arda playing?
So well played to Lawrence. Superb performance there. 2.79 PR.
Very good, isn't it?
Very, very good. Kristian 9.15.
So if we go,
If we say goodbye to this one, where would you like to go, Andrew?
I'll read let's see who's playing. So let's just see who's still playing in round 1. So CV Bernhard Mayer would obviously be a stand-up game. Match me. Right, so let's go to Arda's game, Arda Finn. I think that's still going on.
Arda Finn against what? Yeah, I can see that one.
Let's see if we can get into that.
So who is what? That's a difficult question.
I actually can't get into it. Let's just see if we can Arda Finn. So you're able to get into that match?
Yeah, I'm looking at it at the moment.
Okay, excellent. Okay, yes. Let's just come back out. Okay, I've just been told Mike Grabsky has won in the main event. I've joined you now. So Arda Finn, for those unfamiliar with the world of backgammon, is Arda Findikoglu. I would say with an absolute certainty the most respected tournament director in the world, host of all the major events in Europe and beyond, which tend to have about 500 or 600 people at them. David Collins, who probably less familiar to you, Julia, because he plays a lot in London, but he won Richard Biddle's London League Cup last year, which is a 17-point competition over the year with all the best players in London. Very competent player. Okay, so match score. David is 7, Arda 2. Arda in a strong position here.
Yeah, and Arda has a lot of time left as well. So we watched him a bit yesterday and talked about how it seems to be a thing amongst Turkish players that you play quickly. You don't hang around in deep thought very much.
I think it's beyond that. I think it's a Mediterranean one. If you play with the Romanians and the Turks, etc., you keep going from all the way across Europe. They are very quick.
Yeah.
Until you start playing either the Germans or the Scandinavian players, who are much more methodical and thoughtful.
And on the other hand, David is now quite serious time trouble. He's less than a minute. Still potentially quite a long way to go in this match.
David, I mean, by virtue of the 3 and 1 point, isn't going to cube this, even though he's only 4 away and it would be tempting. He'll definitely hit with no risk. I'm surprised he'll just drop the 1. There's no risk in Arda's home board, doesn't exist. No. That's too big.
That's too big. 11-10 to bring.
Oh, I don't like that move.
11-10 was right, I think, to get another covering number for the 4 point.
Arda will be much happier now with his position. Solid anchor, 5 pieces behind him. Now needs to start making a home board. I hope that if and when he hits David, he can switch his game plan from defense to aggression. But at the moment, David's very comfortable that Arda has no home board. I'm surprised he didn't hit on the 20 there. His 5.
Yeah, that was clearly the right thing to do. 3-1 makes the 5 point, obviously makes the 4 point now. So yeah. The black position didn't look at all threatening 2 moves ago, and suddenly it's out of nowhere. It's become a problem.
Yeah. So this next throw will be a critical one. Arda will be expecting at least 1 or 2 shots. And again, David's very stripped. Oh, I don't like that move either.
No. It's basically buried that 4th checker on the 3 point. There's nothing useful it can do now.
That was actually a very, very good throw, but I'm surprised at the move. And Arda's now got a huge amount of opportunities if he comes in on a 4 or 5.
As long as he comes in quickly. That's good. No, I think I'd be slotting the 3 point here.
Yeah, you need to make
the points in order. I'm wondering if Arda is a little bit too worried about being gammoned at this point, bringing a man into his board. It's a double 4. Oh, again, he's.
I think he's overestimating David's board.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a really very interesting.
And now suddenly it could all go wrong. So. Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah. Now it's too good to double. Or is it? No.
Was it?
Okay.
No.
Now it's an interesting one. Now you pause. That proverbial 12 seconds we spoke about.
Yeah.
Now, very interesting one this for David, because this has huge.
David haven't got long to think about these things now. His timer is really running desperately low.
I'm surprised he's hit that cue.
I think it was. Oh no, that will blow his PR rather badly. It was too good for Arda.
I could see it was a drop. I didn't think it was too good, but
it's a blunder. It's a 0.196 to double, and more than a whole point lost to take. Now it's looking very much like a like a gammon. There's backgammon possibilities here as well, with 4 men back.
His last chance of survival of his board not crashing is about to disappear. He's going to waste a few seconds. Needs to roll his dice. I hope that's a disconnect, and he'll be back in a second. No, that's this is a huge loss of time. Wow. Yeah. Oh no, it was good. It was the disconnect.
It's slightly disconcerting the way the clock jumps back up to correct for any loss of connection.
This is the reason why, as a tournament director, we often prefer Heroes to Galaxy. Imagine that now on Galaxy, that could have been the end of the match.
Yeah. Oh, that's a terrible.
Okay, now David has a reprieve potentially and I think he'd be thrilled if he just saved the gammon. Anything else would be a ridiculous bonus.
Yeah, these are tricky positions. Trying to contain that last man for white. No, you don't want to be making points that just makes it too easy to walk past you. He's hit.
This is getting potentially closer and closer.
No, that's not close now. That's always it's always a.
I think that's the least Arda deserved out of this game.
Yeah.
I think David will be very, very happy to come away from this with only losing 2 points, having accepted a double that was too good. So again, David will be the 4 away, so we'll be 4 away, 6 away. For those of you who know their match equity, I think that is 64%. David is favourite.
Again, I hope this is a connection problem on David's part. There's no reason to be using time here.
No. Fairness to Arda, he's WhatsApped me a couple of times saying that David's having disconnection problems. So a very sad end to the game when his favourite to win it. Gaz Owen has just moved into the last 16. We have to assume this is a disconnect because it hasn't awarded the game to Arda. Okay. David Collins, just for knowledge, he definitely keeps disconnecting, but it's showing the clock at 0 and he's run out of time. So I'm hoping it isn't that. No, I know, he's down to about 20 seconds anyway. Okay, well, we're reaching out to David Collins because fair enough. It's saying the match is over. Okay, well, that could be a very sad exit for David if he's timed out by virtue of bad connections, but Heroes does protect you for bad connections, so I'm just wondering if his just general internet is not very good. So, Julia, I think we may as well go back to the main room.
Okay.
And then now shortly, because the consolation after round 1 reverts back to the fighters room and 9 points, it will be easier to differentiate who's in the main. But John Horton's game, Tiger Eye, is definitely a main game.
Yeah, against Enigma 52, which I believe is Chris Bray.
Good game.
Let's dive in and have a look.
John Horton v Chris Gray, Tiger Ivy Enigma.
We may be just a little bit too late. The score is 9-8, and
Is there
John
any
is
clue?
about to just about to gammon Chris.
This could
Chris
be a notable scout for our friend from up north.
Very much so. Yeah, well done, John.
Chris would have very definitely been one of the favourites for this competition. Excellent. All right. Well, our viewers saw the grand finale, which is the least John deserved for a notable scout. So we'll go back to the main room and see if there are, because we're coming towards the end of the first round. So the reality is, I can see we've
still got one more, which is Hagedol and JAW, who will be Sebastian Adams and Jerry White. Again, it's probably in the closing stages.
Okay, so that would be nice, because two lesser lights of the backgammon elite community, but two of the nicest people you could ever wish to meet.
Hmm.
Here we are. So we're at Sebastian Adams' game, David. He'll be thrilled. And as a huge tennis fan, I'll try and throw in some tennis cliches for him. So Jerry White is at the top, obviously JAW. Leads 9-6. That was a vitally important advanced anchor. Bear with me a second, Julia. Yeah.
Yep, so so we're now at 9-7 after that double and pass. So what Sebastian should be doing at this score is trying to create some gammon threats, get the cube across. If the game is going in a very volatile direction, the cube is very powerful for black. You can obviously make full use of a doubled gammon yourself, but for white can't make any use of gammons after the cube's been turned. So get the cube across and play for 4 points if you can at this sort of score.
So I didn't see that last game pan out. Obviously,
it was
pinched a point.
It was a double and drop just after you left. So I was saying 9-7 now. Black should be looking to ship the cube as soon as he's got threats of gammons. They haven't really materialized in this game.
Of interest, Julia, do you have the observer analysis on this game? Only that I don't, but it's not.
I don't seem to. So
interesting. I'm not sure. Oh, it's because it's still showing live 3 on their clock.
Yeah.
Live 8 setting.
They may have started before you changed that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sebastian pulls back another point. It's 9-8 now.
So this is that interesting 3 away, 2 away, which is always scarier for the 3 away, because that you can end the game. Okay, so let's see, pick up these pieces. So Seb will be looking for one of the more simple arithmetic equations in the equity table, 40%.
Yeah.
think that's possibly going to take him if I was going to say if Jerry doesn't get a good roll, but that's a very good roll. And more often than that's correct to hit on the 1, which he's done. As tempting as it might be to hit on 5, I think that would be too ambitious.
Oh, that's a
double.
That's a great roll.
Yeah, that's arguably, depending on this roll, could be in a position where gammon's become very favourable.
Yeah.
It's 5 or bust here.
Yeah, and I think
Not
that's
too
a bust.
good. So that's what he's thinking about. Is it too good? My personal opinion is too good because 2 points is hugely valuable here, and a gammon and a cube is of no value. My overview is always probably similar to yours, Julia. What would I do if I was throwing the cube here? And I would throw it back very quickly, dropping it.
Yeah, white should be extremely worried about anything remotely gammonish at this sort of score.
Okay, so this is a little bit more. There's a lot of gaps there, and less good than the throw before.
I think just bring another man into play.
You have to hit the 5, don't you?
And you don't want to hit.
Hit
the 1.
That was an odd one.
Now we probably are heading back into cube territory. Yeah. There's fewer gammon chances for black, but he's still.
Again, to me, an easy drop, because other than a forlorn hope that you'll get a shot from the 20, which you've still got to take.
Oh,
I'm
that's a take.
Wow.
It's also harder to take because the cubes, actually possessing the cubes, no value to white at this point.
None at all. So lovely to see Seb and Jerry in the latter stages of the knockout. It's always nice to see. This event was seeded, so at this stage, potentially you could have had the 16, dare I call it, premier players through, but that isn't the case. That's a very it's the other way around.
Yeah, I was looking through the list of results, and say it's very good to see players who you wouldn't normally think of as getting to this sort of stage with any regularity. There's a lot of new names.
Yeah, I think online backgammon is far less intimidating than live backgammon. And I think it's a good balancing act. The other, obviously, huge leveling factor is having a visible pip count. So a lot of the advantages that more erudite players amongst backgammon fraternity have are negated.
Oh, this is a bad 6-2. That doesn't. You forced off.
So, okay, still alive.
4-3. Tidy up, but you're still giving an 8. No. Other boards.
So you do not want to get a 6 and 2 or a 5 and 3 here.
1.
Okay.
And that's
there we are. And Jerry clearly made the right decision taking a cube in a game that earlier on looked too good to double. Well done, Jerry. So he will move onwards and upwards. So look at playing Sean Clonell for a place.
I think you have the scores the wrong way round. Jerry's about to go 9-10 Crawford down.
Oh, forgive me.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I have got it wrong.
Yeah, 2 points to Sebastian.
Well done.
10-9 Crawford. Okay. So the important thing to remember is black does not want to get gammoned here. So
Now that double two is perfect, but that really does eliminate a huge percentage of gammon. So correctly played, in my opinion. Normally you would play that.
yes, normally you'd make the 4 and 11. So giving up the anchor to hit. Problem is there was not any other obviously good thing to do, but that sort of undone the work of the double two. Oh, and this hits twice.
Huge save. That's a
huge roll.
Very good.
That's a good reply, yes. And suddenly this game is going to be going very, very volatile.
So it's interesting though, isn't it? We say the classic double two obviously would have been for Seb to made his 21 point and his 14 points, and retrospectively now it probably looks like that was the right play in terms of removing the volatility from the game. It'll be interesting under analysis to see whether or not. I suppose it's, sorry, David, Bernhard's saying he's playing third.
Oh, this feels a little bit too much. Black's got the anchors. You want to concentrate on getting home safely, not hitting that man at the very back. Double four does rectify that. Well, you can make the 9 point in front of the anchor. While there's little threat on black side of the board, you want to be using the time to get yourself some longer term assets. 9 point is very useful in this position.
Obviously, from Jerry's perspective, he's trying desperately to get himself into a gammon winning potential.
I think he's overdoing it because of the anchor.
Yeah, but it can't happen now, and therefore I agree with it before. He had no risk bringing down, and now within the next couple of moves, Seb will have built a home board.
Yeah.
Those 2 moves ago, he had nothing.
So yeah, this is.
So again, this is your chance to at least make a mini dart for it. You don't mind seeing the 5 point break, so
no. You
13 to 9 is a given. It's just would you come off the 4 to the 2, just to give yourself some flexibility?
13-9, 13-11 feels a bit too big.
Yeah, I actually like 4-2 just to.
And again, we're talking about time. Jerry's running his clock down quite a lot. And that's 6-3. Again, that feels like heading in the wrong direction. 6-3 would have made a useful point in front of the anchor rather than dumping men out of play. 5-4 is safe for now. 13-4. You hit? No. And now Sebastian's got an awkward choice. He either gives up the anchor and largely gives up the game, or kills 2 men down on the 1 point. So that 4 point is never going to get made now. Means Jerry's a lot.
His view presumably being that he was so far behind in the race.
Yeah. Yes, he would have lost the race by coming off the anchor.
And there's not really any gammon potential here, so
no. 3 is safe. Now at this point, I think one of them has to go. You're really not going to get much out of your shots if you break.
No, you can't afford to. You can't afford to lose your board now. So even if he hits him now, it wouldn't be of any major value.
He won.
So
5-2. He's forced off it, which was going to happen anyway. 4-3 seems reasonable to play safe. Jerry's got 3 off now, and Sebastian's still quite some way from home. Oh, you can't afford to think about things too much now, Jerry. 12 seconds left. You've won.
Ah.
3. So we are going to go to double match point.
Just going to check a couple of results.
Double 5. Sebastian, there's no. Yeah. At this score, you just have to stop thinking about gammons. All that matters is that you just win. So yeah, go.
Yeah, these are obviously the easiest games to play, in a nice sense. The most frustrating.
In a nice sense, there's no.
But the most frustrating.
There's no cube. There's no cube decisions to get wrong. Yeah.
No, you forget the last 20 points now and only rue your bad luck in this game.
On the other hand, a lot of moves may come instinctively that are wrong at this particular score.
12 seconds left. Jerry's will be instinctive.
Yeah.
He's about to go below 10. That's an interesting one. I like that.
Yeah, the anchor. You're less worried about anchors because you don't care if you lose. You don't care about the gammon at all. You just got to play to win. 6. And not many good 3s here. So I think Jerry just has to keep hitting until he's covered the race. 5-3 is a very good roll, makes the 5 point on Sebastian's head. Now 6-1. With a blot in Black's board, you probably want to make the 2 here. Okay, 1 out. And that's a very poor roll, doesn't no, Jerry's got the race lead back. Well, had briefly. That double six means Sebastian can go forward, try and win this race. Just
Wow.
Oh, that's a double six up both sides. So Jerry is now favorite again, 14 pips ahead. Sebastian's position is awkward with that, with just the single man on the 5 point. He's likely to waste pips bearing off now. He's going to have to, after the first 5, he's then going to have to play 6-1, which is a rather poor use of a good number. 6-4 is good for Jerry. 6-3, 2 off. Another thing with online play is that a lot of people would just turn on toggle greedy at this point and let the
is that what that is? I didn't know that's
little
what
thing
that
at the
is.
little thing at the bottom left.
I wonder what it was.
It means the computer does the work for you if it can.
If it plays like Mochi or Michi and uses Michi's endgame techniques, then I'm happy. I'd use it.
No, it just does the, if you can take the maximum number of men off in one way, fine. It does.
Which invariably is correct, but it's a very exciting game.
Yeah.
It looks like Jerry is going to edge home
unless 2 off for Jerry.
A huge throw comes in.
That's still alive, but it's going to be
double 6. Oh, grand finale.
Doesn't get a try. But well played.
Battle of the gentlemen. Okay, so we'll take a couple of minute break, and then at 12:05, I've said we will do the last 16 of the main event and 2 of our esteemed guests, but it will be a very good game. Terje Pedersen v Bernhard. So you go back to the main room, and then I've told them we'll click on at 12:05.
Okay.
I will just use this opportunity to thank a few people, most notably P40 and Corey, get well soon with your bad foot, who very generously provided 3 P40 boards for the respective winners of all 3 events, the main and both the constellations. Mel, who from Gammon Village, who reciprocally has given us 3 very nice Silverman boards for all the respective runner-ups. So prizes all the way down, which is great. So huge thanks to both of those. Beyond that, quick sidebar. Julia will be very familiar, but the UK BGF have launched the online league. We are somewhere approaching 200 people now having entered, which is wonderful. It is free to members. And again, P40 are very kindly providing a board for the cup competition. Anyone that is a member that hasn't yet signed up, as I say, what don't cost can't be dear. So come join us. A year's free online backgammon, expertly run by Tony Lezard and David Potter, with the full support of the UK BGF, both website and other wonderful promotes. So that's out there. I'm sure there'll be a few flyers coming out to everyone, but the list will close December 31st because we are launching it for January the 16th, so we'll need a bit of time. Beyond that, I don't think there's much else to report. We will have the memorial event that we set up with the Wayne Felton Trophy, which, dare I say, ironically, was, I think, the last major live event last year, was it not, Julia?
It must
have. Which it was right at the end of February. Yes, it must have
been. Yeah, it must have been.
Yeah, so very poignant, wonderful event. Sadly, will obviously be online this year, and that will be the last weekend in February. So anyone that wants to register, again, the Backgammon London site is free to register. Beyond that, I think it's just, we'll get back to the tournament in a moment. In a couple of minutes, we have a very interesting game with 2 of our VIP guests. Your actual Studio Heroes host, Terje Pedersen, who is a very fine player, and Bernhard Mayer, who is president of the WBIF, Julia.
I believe so, and certainly very involved in running the WBIF online tournaments, the world level ones.
Yeah, which ran superbly well when you had a huge turnout for the UK online tournament.
That's true. That's true.
Which was the longest running event I've ever played in. I think it was a 5-time eliminator.
Five times, yes. So you get a very long, a very long run down the last stages, as you don't eliminate many people.
But actually, in fairness, the winning 3 or 4 players and Simon Bargett, the ultimate winner, had wonderfully strong PRs for that length of matches.
Yes, yeah.
So it was very credible.
Should also give a quick mention for the World Club Championships, which is running on. In terms of numbers of players involved, probably the largest I've ever seen on the site with 335.
Wonderful.
Players.
Is your club still in there?
Sadly, we got knocked out in round 6. I played a good match against. I've lost. I bounced Karditsa of Greece, but the 3 of us only managed 1 win out of the 3, so that saw us disappearing. There's quite a lot of representation from the UK still left in. Bristol Badasses are
subtle name.
Subtle names have won 5 out of their 6 rounds.
Which I assume must have Chris and Gaz in there, and probably Cecilia.
Yes, yeah. Neba Team A, fresh from winning the UK Clubs Championship, are still in. Ealing, another very strong British side, in. Backgammon London and Bucks Gammon and St Albans.
Excellent. Well, I know we've got 1 life left in Backgammon London, so we've lost 2. Okay, now we're going to go, you and I, to Howler Joe, which is Terje. I've just told them to be ready whenever they want, and against Bernhard Mayer.
Right, I'm just going to take a quick break. Excuse me for a minute.
Okay, so they gone on yet,
they
Julia?
They haven't started. I'm just going to have a quick 1-minute break before they
go for it.
I will see you in a second.
Okay, fine. Okay, David, they're on. So it's Howler Joe v Terje Pedersen. If you just tell me when we're live. So welcome everyone to, as I said, 2 of our VIP guests. Terje Pedersen, the host for the weekend of Studio Heroes. He gives us all so much wonderful opportunity and a platform to play on. Howler Joe, Bernhard Mayer of the World Backgammon Federation, which in itself, if you're not a member, is definitely worth joining. Host a large amount of online events, especially national ones. And Julian and I were just talking about the World Club Championship, which in itself is, as we said, the largest backgammon online event with 330 plus players. We are in the last 16 of the main event. 2 players, as I say, well known to everyone, and both very, very fine players. I'll leave the match running for a second. I can't.
Right, we have a match going.
What's interesting, Julia, is all the matches seem to have reverted back to live 3, even though it's saying live 8 in the settings. I'm not sure why.
Oh dear.
Forgive me, because I'm just trying to deal with getting all the second round matches up.
Okay. Okay, so black holding back here just while white's board is crunched, but double 5 solves all of white's problems here. White being Terje and black being Bernhard. That's a very, very straightforward double pass. So 6-5 for both sides, runs out, 3-1 obviously makes the 5 point, 4-2 makes the 4 point, no difficult decisions yet. 6-1 makes the bar, double 6. First interesting one. Several options there, but white can look at hitting loose. It gives him time to try and create some pressure against those 2 blots on this side. Black obviously hops out. 2-1's a poor roll, but he steps up so that that back man can actually see daylight. Creates lots of options on his side of the board with that one. So 3-2 doesn't tidy everything up.
You
probably don't want to be playing with 3 blots though. With a 3.5 point board against you.
Yeah, that's right.
13-8 looks too big. So hit instead. Black's still got a lot of work to do to get this position tidied up. 6-5 makes the 3 and does it. 6-5 does it. 5-3 doesn't hit, obviously. Could think about making the 3 point here. That board is then a very big threat. 3-2 fills in the gap. It's a lovely number. 2-1. Not much you can do with that. And now black's in a commanding position with white stuck behind that 5 prime. Doesn't really want to get hit loose on the 5 point. So he steps out. If he's hit on the 7, it's as bad in terms of getting put back on the bar, but less bad in that it doesn't help white fill in the prime as well. Playing big there to fill in the 5 point. 8-6 stays as diverse as possible. Gives them as many closing numbers. Missed it, but got the 6 to hop out. And now White can start thinking, does he actually need the 5 point? Probably not. He can just, from here, he can just race home comfortably. He's already cubed. So he has actually got to play this game to the end. That's a little awkward, giving a 5-2 shot. Yeah, we can play this safely.
So we are only one result away from the end of the first round of the David Collins Arder, where we saw David time out. And there was a glitch, and they're just resuming and finishing that match.
Yeah, Terje very carefully not leaving himself with bad doubles. With that 2-1, resisting the temptation to fill in the 5 point. He doesn't need it at this stage. And he's now bearing off safely, and this game is pretty much over.
It's just whether he wins a gammon or not.
Small number of gammon chances, but certainly it's worth.
No, I think it's more than small.
Yeah. After.
How good a commentator am I?
Going to be close. Going to be very close. Yes. 2 off. Double 6. Just saves the gammon. Okay, 3-0 to Terje. Yeah, 6-5 hitting twice. Double 3. It's back on and makes a useful point. Yeah, making the 5 point. Always good to have the 5 point in the early game. Oh, and an awkward dance. And White's now very much back in the driving seat. Hits Black to give him take away a lot of Black's roll next time. That's a good return. Comes back on and covers that 1 point, bar point. Double 3, not a lot else other than making the bar. And that's a good hit. 3 makes a. So both sides are ending up stuck behind four primes. Nothing in the outfield. Somebody's got to get out there. Yeah, 5 also. You need to stake a claim in the outfield. We'll just get squashed. 5 again come out. Double 1 puts him back in. Another awkward.
Okay,
this is an interesting cube. Oh, so White has just doubled, but Black's on the bar. Doesn't have any outfield control. Well, he's back out in the outfield. That's good for Black, but it's a little bit late. 5-5 has brought white round and nearly home. One.
So it looks like Terje was flexing his muscles this game with an early cue. These two are very close friends, know each other very, very well.
Yeah, just clear your points in order. That's good. That 5 leaves Black rather vulnerable. Oh,
Wow.
Ouch.
Gammon's massively into the equation.
Okay, so
for a minute, because I'm just curious why we've come out of live 8 in all these games.
So it's going to be close. Bernhard's not rolling big at the moment. Position your men so you need to start thinking about which big doubles will rescue you. But no, that 1 is a lifeline. Gives Bernhard a shot to get a man off. And just the 2 points takes Terje to 5-0 lead. Okay. Fairly straightforward. 3-2. 5-3 makes the 3 point. 4-3 probably anchors up. And another builder down.
I think what it is on the live 3 and live 8, Julia, just so you know, is that if players have been in the room from the first minute of the day at live 3, unless they exit the room and come back, the setting hasn't changed.
Ah, that makes a lot of sense.
I need to ask anyone that is live streamed to go out and come back in again if they haven't.
Yeah, Bernhard putting 2 on the bar so that white can't make 5 point. Gets a fan and the cube goes across, and that's a very quick point. So 5-1. Standard opening. Not a lot you can do with that. 2-1. 6-2 runs a man out, and he's going straight back in now. White also takes the opportunity to make himself an anchor in Black's home board.
Just while we're watching, I'm just going to say a big thank you to the players. There's been some wonderful acts of sportsmanship continually this weekend, just underlined by Ahmad Salib in his match with Chris Rogers, who unfortunately turned up late for his match, should have been -4 penalty points. And Chris is an immensely strong player, but Ahmad did not want to take the penalty points and started the match at 0-0. That is the 4th time this weekend that has happened. So I applaud all of you for that, because in the spirit of a competition like that, this one, that's completely fitting.
Right. Okay, yeah, white can't leave the anchor right now. He's got a good reason to. So he just plays safely in his board. 6-5, yeah. Coming off the midpoint isolates those 2 men at the back rather too much. So no really good options here. That's very much a least bad one. Double 3 is very good. Now those 2 men are starting to get penned in rather.
Point of interest for you, Julia. David
Yeah.
Collins has just beaten Arda in that reconvened game 11-9. So he must have played very well with minimal time left on his clock.
Did they pick the game up again? I'm not sure how you can do that with clocks
they
online.
were able to pick. Yeah, they were able to pick it up from the 28 seconds that you and I thought it had left at, but couldn't understand why the clock had run down.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good news.
Yeah.
It's always, you never want to see anyone lose out because of technical problems in the software or anything like that.
No, and it's fitting that we're watching Terje, because unequivocally that is the biggest advantage currently Heroes has over Galaxy in tournament backgammon.
Yes, I've played on Galaxy a few times, and if anything happens, like you need someone comes to the door or the phone goes off and you need to stop, you can't stop in Galaxy. So yes, my worst PR of 500 was when I accidentally had to sort out something with the family at just the wrong moment. But yes, a huge thank you to Terje for everything he's done in making Heroes such a good tournament platform.
It seems to be a bit like Bernhard with the WBIF. You know, fairly selfless. They seem to be one-man armies.
Yeah.
That's why we invited them to this event in Arda and Rory. It's a chance for us to say thank you to them.
Yeah. So this game turning into one of those bear-offs where neither side has enough to cash it.
No, this will be
X3 takes 2 off.
always very hard to calculate these.
So it's worth
personal feeling is at 1-5 down, this is a cube for Bernhard. Because as long as he takes 1 off this go and advances 1 of his rears, he'll be only down to 1 next go. But that wasn't a good
plan. That was not the right roll.
But this is what I was saying.
Yeah.
Now even with the 6-5, so to me it was a definite cube.
And now it must be a cube, just to protect against 2-1.
the dreaded 2-1. Yeah.
Okay, so next. Half a point's quickly made. 5-1. Double 4 makes the 5 point very nicely. Black can leap straight out, and
very nice start by both players.
Now to think about cubing here. Yes. After that hit from the bar. Even at 5-2, you're more keen to take it when you're 3 points behind, but that wasn't good enough. So we're now at 6-2. Yeah. So 5-1. Yeah, don't want to get yourself in trouble by getting in the way of a blitzing position. Yeah. Black hits, and now that's undone a lot of the work that White's double 6 did. The 2 is very ugly. There aren't many better things than that. Black is going to carry on with his offensive. And now it's the second block exposed by White. The cube comes over. Again, this looks like the sort of position you should pass. White doesn't want to end up losing all of that lead in one go. Okay, so we're 6-3. Double 3 hits twice. Very good use of it. And that's a quick and aggressive double. It's still a take with such a weak board, but the potential is there.
My distractions.
Oh, that's another good hit from the bar, but White's position is rather disjointed, and he's going to suffer from not having an anchor. There we go. That's cured that problem for him. 2. So double 4, you can move the 3-point forward to the bar. The other alternatives all rather split Black's position between the 4 at the back and the rest. So I think 3 to the bar and then 18 to 14. Oh no, that. I'm not keen on that, making the 1 point. And White's now going to make life very difficult for those men on the bar points. They're not going to get away from there very easily. 6-5 comes out and hits. 2. Makes another good point, but well, that's worked out very well for Black. White's been stuck on the bar for some time. Oh, I think that could all turn around again very quickly.
A quick recap for everybody.
We Andrew, we can't hear you very well.
Ah, sorry. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you fine when you look at your directly at the camera.
I'm trying to read the results at the same matches at the same time. Forgive me. Okay, Lawrence Powell v Mike Grabsky, Richard McQuillan versus Ian Gwynn, Ahmad Salib v John Horton, Gaz Owen v Oliver Squire, Sean Clennell v Jerry White, Bernhard and Terje you're watching, Christoph v Steen, and Andy Boysen v David Collins. A multicultural assortment of players from all over Europe.
So that's another great advantage of playing online, is that you can get all sorts of people involved without the logistical headaches of.
Yeah, and I think this is why we all believe even the National Online League will be here to stay, because most players won't have the ability to play in all the tour events all over the country, and it will give them an ability over the year to play with friends from, as you say, geographically far and wide.
Yeah. So while you're reading out the results, we've moved on to 8-3 to Terje.
The exciting thing for viewers now is all the matches you'll see for the remainder of the day are sudden death knockout.
Yeah.
Exactly the throw Terje would like.
Yeah, 4-1 no, useful.
Yeah,
makes the 2 point. Got to play cautiously with that
sure.
blackboard. (13-8, 6). Again, you don't really want to be slotting with that powerful board opposite you. And there's a double one. Yeah. And that's a very powerful sequence. 2 black on the bar now. Again, we're at that one of those scores where it's far better for white to go for the undoubled gammon and just take 2 points rather than ship the cube and find it coming straight back. One of the things we've been talking about on yesterday's stream, when you're 3 away, lots away, there should be almost no doubles by the leader. If it's going well enough to think about doubling, then just keep going. And if it's not, you wouldn't cube anyway.
If there was ever testimony to watch Julian Fetterlein later, what you're now hearing from Julia is the tidbits that we learned from Julian.
So this is very likely to be gammon now, unless Bernhard can find a double from somewhere. Off 6-2. I think that finishes it. Yes. Right, so we go to 10-3 Crawford. Bernhard.
Terje in a hurry.
Yeah. Bernhard not worrying about gammons, plays the more aggressive 2-1 opening. Yeah, 5.
I like that.
I like it as well. That's good.
He doesn't need a third piece back. He only needs a point. Gammons mean nothing.
Yeah.
If ever there's a time to run,
I think,
sadly, this might be it.
Yes, this is it. While Black's board is at its absolute weakest. Especially as you can run one man to a pretty safe position. I think I might have gone on one more pip, save one more shot. But no, definitely tidy everything up now. 4-point looks attractive, but giving a direct shot in this situation isn't worth it.
Forgive me for my distractions.
Yep.
Okay, it's done.
6-2 just plays safely. Because that's a good roll. Now white really needs to be careful. Oops.
Very
No,
huge save.
Awesome. Yeah. White needs to think about this one carefully. The 5 is awkward though. 5 doesn't help in any way building that board, so it's only.
Yeah, I think he takes his chances and runs.
I think well, he's found a shot from somewhere. Didn't hit it. And now it's looking much more.
Could have taken the one off there, Ben. Small mistake.
No, that's not. 3-3 takes 2 off. The second 3-3 doesn't help. This is going to be a point for Bernhard. Yeah. And there we are. Now 10-4 Crawford.
And you see this a lot from players now, not just necessarily throwing the cube out for the sake of it, even though it's obviously a mandatory double to most of us. And they often play to see if they've got more of a gammon position. Most of us would be curious why Bernhard hasn't thrown the cube yet.
There it goes. I think if you turn a cube automatically, you're then committed to playing the game to the end. Whereas if you play to the point where you just have a few extra gammon chances, you can get your opponent to drop. Get the point the easy way. But there's certainly no harm in just throwing the cube across on move 1. Yeah, black can play very freely with all those blots over on the other side. Nothing for him to worry about. And White's just going to hang on to those anchors for now. 3. And White really got to keep his eye on not being gammoned at this score. 4 points would be a very big loss.
So what you're seeing is why I'd like to see some guest commentators volunteer to come on. I'm just going to post it actually on our Facebook. It must be frustrating for people to see my head jump in and out.
So 6-5 safe, double 4. Well, it needs to hang on to that anchor for now. And now White's forced to run both of them.
Not so far behind.
Not so far that, no.
So this is
4.
Spoil sport. I only say spoil sport because I'm getting quite a few prompts from people in the UK saying we'd like to see Gazzo and the Oliver Squire. This is a high quality game from 2 very, very fine players.
Again, Bernhard's not doubling straight away.
No, and this is a little bit more obvious, even though at 85% favourite, he only needed 15%, which obviously you would have immediately. He'll be a little bit upset with that move because it may have given her a hit or a chance to hit.
Yeah, I was surprised with the 1. I think maybe
you would
making the bar point
that
would have been a little bit better. 6-1.
Hit him with 3 and make the 2.
Yeah.
Now, if he doesn't come on, this will. He does. So
double 2.
Terrific throw.
Yeah, makes the 4.
Now, tiptoe through the fairways and fields, and Terje will be in the last 8. Bernhard, nothing if not resilient.
And 2, 3. That picks and passes. Yeah.
Plethora of doubles. Wow.
And that's sorted out.
I'm going to just leave this game for a minute to see, leave you there. And,
Okay.
see where.
There's not 3, so 5-3. Oh, 5. And that's pretty much game over, I'm afraid. Terje just has to bear off these last few men for the match. Must be physically impossible now. Yeah. Well played to both players. It's very
So I can't
great
see
match to watch.
Gaz's matches. Gaz isn't showing as playing with. So I think if we're going to go. Right, so Julia, we're going to go to John Horton v Ahmad Salib. That's the Salib v Tiger Eye.
Okay, we're back. I've got it in front of me. So John's leading 6-4.
It's just going to push us across to that match. Okay, so we're now live on this one. So North v South match. John Horton, who, in fact, both players have very notable victories in the last round. Ahmad beat Chris Rogers and John beat Chris Bray. They both fully earned their right to be in this round.
Yes. Okay, so just, no reason to go around leaving shots against that strong board. Oh, that's white. That's a very good roll. Five-3 makes the 3-point. Now Black's there's a lot of difficulty running his men out. His board's going to crack if he doesn't. But if he does, he's got to
made the 2-point there for me.
Yeah.
Just to buy a little bit of time with a spare 6 because you don't want to give up the 5 too quickly. Okay. So,
yeah.
Okay, but
it's just Black doesn't want to leave a man behind. He's got to go and run with 1, so he takes both out.
So although John looks like he's wasted with a lot of pips on the 4-point, you and I know that that's always a favourable point to be loaded.
I think I might have played 6-5 there rather than bring the 4th one in. You don't want to end up with a gap on 5 and wasting 5s when you roll them. Oh, that's not good. Now fill in the 5 rather than the 3. Yeah. Yeah, it's always good to take a man off with the 1 if you can, but yeah, so now John's got the gap on the 5. 2. I have 1. Not really a wasted 5. You can play that one efficiently. 5-1. Yeah, pick him up. 3-1, and now split 6-5. Good. So we'll take. They're certainly rolling their double ones well today. 6 a bit. One is poor, and now John should be at least stop and think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's cubed. It's good. It's
So
five men against 7. It should be a drop. They both might waste a bit, but 2 men is too much of an advantage. So 7-4 now.
The other thing, and again, this is always why it's useful for people to know their equity. Ahmad was only giving away 6% by dropping that one. Again.
Okay, 6-3. Doesn't do a lot.
Okay.
That's a good reply. What you can think about hitting can also make something useful in his outer board. But the hit looks good with 2 points made and a racing lead now. Black's position looks somewhat shaky with that blot hanging around on the 2 where it's no help to anything.
And again, just reminding players of the score, when your opponent is 4 away, even if you're chasing the game, you've got to be very careful about throwing too aggressive a cube, because actually it's quite an easy one for John to take. Many of us are always very conscious of ourselves being 4 away, but not always when our opponent is.
Mm. Black can't do much positional improvement with this double 6. It looks like it's make the 1 point, cover the 2,
and then bring the 21 out,
and then bring 1 out.
Yeah, I like that, because now if John doesn't come on, he's got. Even if he comes on 3 or 4, he's got big racing.
Yeah.
The great Neil Kazaros always said, I always want to be ahead in the race, no matter what.
Yeah.
This is one of those moments.
Yeah, he's done.
Okay.
So now
would you
again,
cue? You got nice.
It's one of those positions.
You got a very easy hit. You got 1, 2, 3s, and 4s to get to on the bar, and your opponent hasn't got much of a home board, but you've got
a stronger board.
I think
even though it's ugly, It's
But if he anchored on the 5, then you'd have a problem.
but it's
I think it's an easy drop.
there's an easy drop. There's loads of gammon threats hanging over you if you don't make that anchor quickly. X2 comes out. Double one very nicely. No. Oh, I hope again.
Yeah, it's always misleading on here.
Yes.
Oh, very nice throw.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you might want to make the 5 and the 3 here. I'm sure that does 2 good things. Okay.
I don't know. Stepping to the edge of the prime is an important thing to do. Maybe not the first priority here, but just no. I think you want to hang on to the 8 point. It's an important asset still. That runs away.
Have the classic 12v18 point match in a minute.
I think that's a yeah, run. When you can run, do.
Most futile comment in backgammon, which is the most obvious, which is it is ultimately a race. Be as academic as we like.
Yeah. The problem with using this double 4 to build your board is that you end up stuck with the 2 men on black's bar point.
Yeah.
You end up being the one that's held rather than holding your opponent.
Yeah, well, I said to you there was an inevitability of a 12v18 game here.
Yeah. No, I think white's now going to be. I think as black, I would now use. That's too cautious. I'd be using some of that to improve my board a bit, because white is going to get forced off at an awkward moment now. I think that makes it life too easy for him.
Amount of doubles in this game.
I think, yeah, John doesn't want to start burying his men. It's although he's a bit behind in the race, it's not terrible, and black is going to have some wastage with 5 certainly for some time. There's one. Here's why the gap on the 5 hurts you so much, is that when you get the bad number, not only have you got the wastage, but you can't use it to fix the problem either.
Just out of interest, Julian, just Bernhard Mayer's just saying thank you because his tournament obviously ended when he lost to Terje. He was just asking us whether we should have been storing all the match files. Is there a reason we would?
I tend to do that so that I've got a copy just in case there is any question after the event. It does mean I then get plenty of hassle from Microsoft about my email box being full. But
I suppose the only thing is what he's probably going to say to me is these events, by having 32 players or more, you can often prescribe those off to BMAB.
Yes, that's true. If anyone wants, I don't know the rules on online games with BMAB.
No, this one I'm not sure of. So.
Yeah, so black's five's hurting you again. Take your time. Pip count wise, black is 9 ahead, but you need to take the distribution into account a bit as well.
Small promote. Sean Jones is got a couple of spaces still left in his Worcester Turkey event on December the 28th. Anyone that wants to enter.
Yeah, that's always one of the most fun tournaments in the physical year. Obviously we can't hold it physically this time around, but it's definitely good fun.
Yeah. Sean is definitely a very enthusiastic tournament director, so I'm sure his events are a lot of fun.
He has an interesting taste in trophies each year, that has to be said.
That oppose my vegetarian concepts.
Okay, so where are we? 7-6 now. A4. Oh, that's an interesting choice. Do you make the anchor or do you hit that man outside? I think I go with
This match is a real war of attrition, isn't it? It's a real tough game. You can see there.
So again, what do you do here? Do you make the 3-point or slot the 5?
I think it was too easy a target on the 5-point. I just never like leaving an isolated point on the 5-point because you know you're going to get pointed on or hit irrespective.
It's just an invitation to your opponent to attack it, isn't it?
Completely. And at that point, he was ahead in the race with only 1 point. So you get hit on your. I think that's
6-4. I like the safe play. I think you're overextending yourself too much to try and make the 2, and then you're to come back later to fill in the gaps. That's okay. There's not much else. 6. Oh, good hit. And that 6 is forced, so that would possibly be worth thinking about the cube at least. You need to start coming up. I think 23-22 is going to be important. That feels big. Feels a bit too big. Giving up. I mean, it's only an ace point anchor, but it's still an anchor at this point.
Absolutely.
And now John can attack. That's a big attack. He can attack the man on the 2 safely. Yes, like that. Emad can close the 5-point board, but he's still got 1 to play. Another lesson I picked up from Julian Fetterlein when you get doubles is don't play 3 good numbers and then fish around for a bad 4th. You have to look at it in its entirety. Whether that helps a lot here, yeah, there we go. So don't fill in the 5 point and then fish around for an answer. Now, what can John do here? You can shift points, 5-4 twice. Keep black from doing anything productive next time.
You moved none so far, forgive me, I've been out.
Yeah, no, that's less good because of the dead checker on the 2.
Deceptively poor throw, isn't it?
Personally, I find shifting points one of the easiest plays to miss when it comes up.
Yeah, I mean, I would have shifted the point, and I don't think the 8 point is doing a huge amount for him.
No, the 8 point's rather redundant once you've got the 2.
So
they're never going to be part of the same prime together. No, that's
I think I would have shifted the 20 and dare I say, given up the 8.
Yeah.
I'm really only worried
5.
about the 2. I'm only worried about the 2 on the 24. Just want to keep them hanging in.
I think that's another time where you should step out. That gap on Emad's 5 is not going to get filled in easily now.
No.
No.
We'll make John a strong favourite.
Come on with 1 and make the outside point so that you're not in immediate danger of more men going back. But this looks like
I think he's going to have much chance.
4-1 is rather more ragged. John should definitely be thinking about the cube.
To all our watchers out there, however few or many that might be, keep extending an open invitation to anyone to guest commentate so you and I can have a light reprieve before Jules turns up. And unbelievably, no one wants to pick it up.
Oh, that's a...
Yeah, that's a good play.
That's
now,
a good hit.
Okay, so it's an interesting position now coming up soon for Bernhard. I don't think I can brave enough yet. How brave are you now? Do you leave, bring out the 21 to the 16 and hope you get to the 15 and hope you get a second shot at the 10 point?
I can't see any great alternatives.
No, he's only going to win this game by having 2 on the bar.
Yeah.
To me, that's just...
And I just because
time for John.
Because John can get out easily via the 5 point, that doesn't really threaten him so much. Oh, that okay. I tell a lie. No. The 5 point.
Must make the 5.
This is one of those positions where it's going to. One thing is going to be hugely right.
But I think here
that so transforms the game that it must be
right. But would you now? I'd be tempted to cube. I really would.
I think yes. You've got a blot in the outfield.
Only because it's a hell of a difficult decision for John.
It's probably a lot easier now. Black has got some destructive numbers coming up. 4-3, double 4.
I like the cube. I liked it the game before, but I like it. Yeah. I think this is a very tough take. I'm sure it probably is a take. Okay, so the volatile 4 away, 4 away.
All.
Mad grinding. Okay, so
Yeah, that's good. John's going to build 2 points here. Choose between the 4. The 4 looks much more natural. The 2 again leaves you with gaps that are hard to fill in. I thought now John should be thinking. That's a good cube. Again, at 4 away, gammonish positions, you have to be really, really careful with taking.
Yes, it's one of the most frustrating passes at 4 away, isn't it?
Mm.
You don't get a chance to do very much.
Yeah, hit on the 1 doesn't really achieve anything there. John makes the 5 point. Well, Imad comes back very well to make 2 points. Now John hits behind. 1 at 6. I think this is one of the situations with the 6 you should step out to the bar again, or should have stepped out to the bar. Leaving those 3 men deep in John's board means that his outfield is relatively free space for him. 4-3 is not a good roll, doesn't let him do anything much. 3-2, Imad's got another choice here, whether he extends his prime forwards or makes the anchor. I think.
Yeah, I think you have to make the anchor.
Make the anchor because
something like a double 5 came, it would be destructive.
You've got time to make the prime later.
Yeah, there's a classic case there. Just shuffle the 2 off the 8 point.
Yeah, just keep it rolling forward.
Don't forget your lunch, Julia.
I shall probably have a break after this game, if that's all right.
No, for sure. I mean,
Good
we can
fun.
leave streaming without either of us sometimes as well. Just David's gone off to get the vegan burgers for the 3 of us. So.
Oh, you're making me hungry now.
Yeah, I'm converting them to plant-based burgers.
It's digressing, but we've had some very nice ones recently. Sometimes very
Honest Burgers do a really good one.
Now this double 4, John's thinking a lot about it. I quite like that. I think if you want to keep flexibility, you don't want.
I think he knows that Ahmad's going to have to split his midpoint soon, so those on the 12 are going to have a pretty easy ride in. He's hoping.
Yeah. 4-1 again. Just play safe. Just wait for a bad number from black. There we go.
This is really. That's fine. Make the 2.
Yeah. I think it's. Yeah, you don't want to. As black, you need to be careful now that you don't get forced out off the anchor with big numbers. So leaving the man on the 17 is useful.
It's interesting.
I don't like that.
I wouldn't be doing that. I'd definitely come down to the 11 with absolute certainty.
Yeah, coming to the 9 is a different matter because
no, I wouldn't come to the 9, but I come down to the 11 for sure.
No.
Big gap.
I certainly wouldn't. Having played 3 of them, I'm not going to split the midpoint. No. Now, does Imad run or does he break his board?
I think he's going to
he can.
Stay,
he can play 8-3-5-1, but it's another dead man.
Now, there's going to come. I was going to say we're getting to that point imminently where John needs to think about cubing because Imad's board's about to crunch, or he's going to come out and leave a free shot.
Well, he's got to come out now.
Yeah. Okay. So that
I wonder if John is playing for a gammon here. I think it's too ambitious. Having said that, making the 1 point improves his position a lot. I don't think there's not a lot of gammon chance here, but also no immediate. Well, there's now an immediate risk of 6-3. And there's going to be more awkward numbers this time as well. 4-1 isn't one. John he certainly looks like he's playing all out for a gammon here. He's now got enough men off that it's probably worth carrying on with that. 5 off 5-2. He's still going. He's going to get to the point. No, that's 5 off 5-2. Yes, he's going to get to the point where he's just got so many men off that he's still a favourite, even if he is hit. And double 5. That's sealed it. He's going to be. I think he needs one more. He's going to need one more double for the gammon. No, he doesn't even get that go at it. So it's all over now. We go to 9-7. So we're at 2 away, 4 away now.
Okay. So that throw in itself is probably enough for Imad to think about cubing now.
It's certainly.
I would be throwing the cube with certainty here. Yep, good man. Good man.
Yeah.
As Bill Murray said in Space Jam, I don't play defense when you're 4 away.
Not when you're 4 away, 2 away.
No.
It's one thing I've become aware of is just how many sort of intermediate players are scared of cubing when your opponent's 2 away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and John drops. I don't think that was a bad drop.
No, not at all.
Better to fight another day than crash and burn horribly. So 5-3 makes a good outfield point. It's often underrated how useful points in your outfield are when there's still plenty of contact. Feels a bit big. Yeah, I like hitting twice. Oh, that's a very strong roll. Makes the 5. And just John pulled something good out of the bag here. We're in the same position we were in the last game. Imad's going to throw across a cube with plenty of gammon potential, and that's just too scary for John to touch. 2. Would you take this as white, Andrew?
We're 9-8 up.
Cubing from the bar. Cubing from the bar.
Yeah, I would. The reason being now, it's a mandatory double match point. The cube's going to come out now. There's a chance you're in a worse position now than you were before.
So yeah, so we're effectively double match point.
John's position now. John's position is far worse now in terms of the match context than it was with the cube. And that was so early in the game, and he had an advanced anchor. I think there's a very good quote. It's something that I've always borne close in mind, because I for sure am not one of the more skilled players, but maybe a good match play player, is that champion is afraid of losing, whereas most players are afraid of winning.
Yeah.
And I think that may have been a case where John was looking at what he might lose rather than what he might win.
It's almost instinctive human bias that we are more conscious of losing what we have than gaining what we don't have. Not just backgammon; it applies in many other scenarios. It's very real.
Yeah, and I think it's very clear when you're playing consistently good players, and in tournaments like this, you see it, that the position speaks for itself. They're not clouded by that judgment.
Yes, you look at the good players and they play to win, not to just not lose.
Correct.
If that means
it's correct.
I mean,
it does. It's not a paradox. It's it's completely true.
Yeah. So John's in a commanding position here, and he's got another man back.
I haven't been watching this game back. I'm not sure how Mad's position got so bad. I was trying to look like he was in a good position a few minutes ago.
It was a rather awkward 5-4, and he got hit in the outfield, and it sort of deteriorated from there, really. To hit and on.
Ahmad isn't going to need to come on very quickly.
Yep. Now 9-8. Yeah. One thing I've seen in a lot of other players this weekend is spending too much time worrying about that odd man at the back. Really, you want to throw everything at the front position until this battle of trying to close out the black men is resolved one way or the other.
Yeah, especially when you're on games like this at double match point, where there is nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Last 4 or 5 moves, John's played very well.
Yeah. So
I can see. I've never actually watched or played with John, but
what happened there?
Doesn't make any sense. The match is over. Return to lobby, but the clocks are all running.
I'm going to hop out to the lobby and see if I can see it again.
Yeah. Let's exit for a minute.
It looks like it's finished. I can't see the players on the list anymore.
We were live. That's odd.
Yes. It could be that Imad's resigned the match, seeing that there's very little chance of a comeback from where he was, but you should never do that. There's always
I'd be shocked if you did that.
There's always peculiar ways that that games can turn around, even from the very last moment.
I'd be shocked. I play regularly with them, Ed, and he's certainly not someone that would just give up knowing this game. No. Oh, he's saying, did your match finish? No. Saying it's all okay. I think I can only assume.
I can't see John online anymore.
No, I'm just wondering I wonder if John's no, just putting it's all okay. I wonder if this is similar to what happened with David. Oh, it's okay. So John has disconnected. But I'm not sure why it said a match is over. That's making sense.
It sometimes says that if you're watching and one player physically disconnects, so that it tells heroes that he's not logged in anymore, rather than just has problems where they sort of lose contact.
So
Hopefully be back to resume it.
while we're watching, I'm just going to see where. Saying he's lost on time. So Ahmed's just texted me saying, looks like he is lost on time.
Well, that's odd, because I say he's not in the room, so his clock shouldn't be going down.
While we're waiting, Julia, if you shuffle across, so it's up to you. You can either go and have a nice quick break, have a break. I'm just going to shuffle the live stream to Lawrence Powell v Mike Grabski.
Okay. I think what time's the start of the last 8?
So well, officially 2:30. Unofficially, players are tending to sort of literally play as they finish earlier rounds if their draws are in line. But officially, it's 2:30.
Okay, and we will.
So in fairness, I think everyone will want a bit of a lunch break in a minute anyway. So.
I think so. They've been playing for 3 hours if they've been playing through.
So Ahmad, in his, again, I'm just extolling the virtues of sportsmanship, has just said to me, if by some unfortunate event, John has disconnected, but not actually from Studio Heroes, but for whatever reason, he will play a DMP with him.
Oh, that's
because obviously John was winning. Even he's recognised that. Right, David, would you be kind enough just to put Lawrence Powell v Mike Grabski on the live stream just while we wait to see if I'll leave Julia in that room just for a minute while I try. Just see what's happening.
okay. So I'm hoping you're seeing what I'm seeing. I'm looking at Lawrence Powell and Mike Grabski, 7-all. Lawrence Black has Mike pinned back behind a prime. The cube's turned. Oh, that's a unfortunate dance. 2-1. Probably make the 8-point here. Yeah. For 3, not really much option. Or 3. Mike's hitting now. The problem is Mike is very vulnerable to gammons here. He's got to come back in quickly, rescue that. That doesn't run. 6. Poor Lawrence slots the 3 in the hope that, I think that was over ambitious. But it's worked out okay. Ish. Can run one man out. Mike still needs desperately to come in. Now Lawrence might think about 6-3, 6-1. Yeah. Double 2 puts one of those men safe. Just a couple of shots for Mike. He stays out. Now Lawrence is home and run it. And Mike needs 9 crossovers to save the gammon. And the match that's a good roll. 2 more for Lawrence. 4-3, yeah. Don't be burying men. You want to bring them into your 6 point if you can. Now 6 is obviously 1 in, and then 8-4 gets the crossover. 6-1 is 2 off. Mike should now be safe. He will definitely take 1 off next time, and he's got 1 more roll to do it. And there we are. So we're now at 9-7 to Lawrence.
I just got John Horton back in. Everyone will be pleased to know. And that game will resume exactly where it got disconnected from.
Do we want to go back and watch it, or should we stay where we are?
Well, you may as well stay where we are now.
I think it was just about to be resolved in John's favour.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll go and watch John Horton's game in parallel while you're watching that game.
Okay.
As I'm watching it, there is a huge inevitability this match is over.
So Mike makes it good, making the 5 points. Now Lawrence can make his. I think you shuffle 10 to 9 with the other 2 ones. Oh. 3-1, just carry on now. Carry on getting ready to build that board. 5-1 again. No reason to do anything. No to start any fireworks off at the moment. 6-2. Oh, this is more.
Okay, so as was expected, John Horton just completed his victory over Ahmad. So in a nice sense, I'm happy the right result ended up.
Yeah. Okay, 6-3. Now cover one of those men. That's right. Two. Both sides playing cautiously, waiting to be in a good position when their opponent is finally forced to leave. That's right. Lawrence gets the hit, picks up his blot.
Ooh. Now this will be an interesting decision if Lawrence dances.
Yeah.
4 away. Ooh.
4 away, 2 away. We've talked a lot about 4 away, 2 away this weekend.
I would be cubing. I've got a 5-point board. I would be cubing there. There's definite gammons if Lawrence to dance, but there we are.
But now Lawrence is out.
I am the
Mike's
aggressive player.
only got indirect shots, and that's a horrible.
Yeah,
It doesn't break his board quite, but it now means next roll he's either got to break his board or come off the anchor. Not a comfortable time to be playing 4-3 into the outfield right now.
right.
I don't like this. This seems to be the worst of both worlds.
Yeah, I don't think he needs to come out yet.
No, I think it's too dangerous to come out. Okay.
$11.
And Mike gets the 9.
Wow.
Wow.
Now the cube I did throw, which looked a bit impetuous earlier. Would you just take the point and run here? I can't see Lawrence taking this if he cubes.
No, 8-9 then. On. I'm not keen on that hitting on the 2. When it does work, it's not a point you want to make. So in this case, it didn't work. No, Lawrence, yeah. Five, 3. Mike secured a reasonable anchor out of that. 4-3 doesn't do very much. Just play it safely. A little bit too cautious, perhaps. Mike's 4-3. Again, he hits on the 2 point. No, it definitely makes the 4. You don't want a big pile on the opponent's 4.
Where are we here?
5-3.
Lawrence playing very safe, understandably.
That's good. That hits and brings the man across. It's still safe.
Must make the 5 point.
Yeah, definitely.
It doesn't matter if he's hit now. He's desperate for contact. Now he's formed a half reasonable home board. He's just looking for contact.
Yeah.
That was an important throw for Lawrence.
Yeah, refuses the hit.
Very...
Makes the good point instead. Five, 3. It could clear the 11 safely. It's going to make things tricky in a few moves' time. But at the moment, immediate safety is what matters.
8 to 6 is probably the easy move.
I don't like that. You need to be generating more contact than that.
No.
3-1.
Again, oldest adage in backgammon: when behind, stay back, and there's no risk there with the 1 point open behind you. I think again, even there, that was a little bit.
That's a very good.
Actually, Mike's probably happier now in terms of at least Lawrence has run out of time. Hopefully.
Although Lawrence has got plenty of spares on 6 and 8 points.
Is Lawrence trying the cube?
Yes.
Wow, a 9-8. That's brave.
It's going to come straight back, but
I wouldn't have seen that cube. I would not have seen that cube.
It's the XG's, sorry, it's not XG, it's Heroes analysis is telling us thought it was too good to double.
Oh, there's definitely, I see the drop actually.
Huge pass, but 0.004 too good.
Well, they thought there were so many gammons on for Lawrence. Strange.
I don't think there are very many gammons. It's just that you now don't have any of them.
I still have 3 lessons that I've never taken up from Julian Fetterlein. When they did one of their wonderful special offers for £75 for 3 lessons, and to see if he can explain to me the too good to double principles, because I blundered that the whole time.
Ouch! That's a shot. So
that's why from that fact, that's why I'm confused with the too good to double, because I didn't see the double.
I think it might be just a rounding error inside the engine being that small. It's certainly not a take, simply because
I didn't realize that Lawrence is down to 23 seconds, which may also be the reason he's trying to end the game early, thinking
he's got past,
should be safe now.
Point. Well, it's just a matter of getting off safely now. 41 pips ahead.
Plus side is, so this will if Lawrence does win this will conclude our remaining match before we have our quarterfinals of the main event. Those will resume from 2:30, so we will take a little break after this.
Yeah, 4-4 clears everything up, and this is now game over.
We had a result. No, I don't actually know either of them.
And there we go.
Wonderful. Well, Julia, go and have a nice well-earned break.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
We'll be back at 2:30 for the
quarterfinals.
Quarterfinals.
Yeah,
is there any matches you've particularly got your eye on at the moment?
I think the obvious game in terms of by stature and credibility, Gazoin.
Okay, we've seen quite a bit of John today, but that should be a good match.
We've got Lawrence v. Richard, Terje v. Jerry White, and Andy Boyson. We're just waiting for it to go to the 2 players I'm not familiar with. Vic. I think watching Gaz online is always a thrill because he plays so quickly for someone so good.
Yes, yes. Great. Well,
Wonderful.
yeah, sign off. Just to sort of finish off with that, with the Lawrence and Mike game. They both played good PRs there. 5.76 for Lawrence, 6.67 for Mike. Yeah, very good performance. It's been a great morning.
Yeah.
And we shall see you later at 2:30 in time for the quarterfinals.
Look forward to it.
All right. Take care and see you later.
See you in a bit. Thanks. Bye. Yeah, let me have a short break. Forgive me for a second. See if there's a match we can leave on for everybody. I'm just going to go to the fighters bracket. We can leave a match running while. So it looks for a minute like there's no live matches going on. So David? If you could take it off. I'm just gonna... Facebook page. So I need to